Hello everybody, I'm Day Weather, meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this May 18th, 2024. It's being brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors and WSR Insurance Services Incorporated. The weather as we go now into the second half of May, we're on the downhill side of the month. What we're going to see is that in the west, a warmer and breezy period will be developing and lasting through this weekend. However, next week, cooler weather and showers and thunderstorms, and yes, some high country snow is going to be possible during the first half of next week. So that's going to cool things off. We're expecting snow levels to stay pretty high in the mountains, and we're not expecting any hard freezes. But this is actually good news because there may be some areas that need some rain that could get some in the west with this pattern change. Now, by late next week and towards the following weekend and into the week after that, for the 3-day Memorial Day weekend coming up and the week after, trending warmer. We're not into a summer pattern yet in the west, but we're getting there slowly but surely. In the past week, some areas of interest we did see, and you'll see this here in a moment, some significant moisture over the weekend in the south central areas of Colorado, areas of northeast New Mexico, even parts of western Kansas, and the panhandles picked up some needed rain. Southeastern Colorado as well, but western Nebraska, eastern Wyoming, parts of northeastern Colorado remain dry, wet again across the northern half of Wyoming into the western areas of South Dakota. The Corn Belt and the Gulf Coast areas of the United States continue to be wet, while dry in the Pacific Northwest through most of California and the desert Southwest. We saw over a foot of snow in some of the central and south central mountains of Colorado, and late season snows have really given a late season boost to water and snowpack in northwestern Wyoming and the mountains of Montana, and even into the Sierra Nevada over the last couple of weeks. So kind of a late season surge in the high country, and we'll see a little bit more of that with this next system. Over the past week, the coldest weather relative to average has been in the central and southern Rockies. There's a ring of warmth that's been around it over the rest of the nation. Latest drought monitor continues to show an area of concern, certainly right here with the driest conditions. The Corn Belt dryness continues to be erased. We've had some help up here over the last few weeks. Could use some more up here up into Montana. When we look at what's coming, maybe a little bit of help's on the way. This is by Monday, so after some warmer weather this weekend, some windy areas, pretty good looking weather is coming our way as we head on into next week with the cooler weather coming in around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And it comes in with this area of low pressure and a cold front coming into the west here. That'll be by Tuesday. And by Saturday, by next weekend, we start to see warmer weather come in by Memorial Day weekend. But as these systems pass through, there is going to be some moisture. And there's an area right here along Interstate 80 that could really use some rain. And I think there will be parts of southern Wyoming and northern Colorado that finally get some. Continued wet across the northern plains, the northern Rockies. There's going to be some help for some of those areas that have had some concerns with wildfire activity over the last week in parts of Saskatchewan and Alberta. Cool and wet up there. The northern plains, the northwest Corn Belt, continued quite wet. Eastern Corn Belt as well. For Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, continued dry down there and continued dry in northwest Mexico. So no hint of any summer, let's say early summer, spring thunderstorm activity in northwest Mexico just yet. Yep, it's going to snow, folks. Over the next week, the mountains of Wyoming, the Wasatch of Utah, far northern Colorado, and the mountains of Montana could see some significant wet spring snows, especially early in the week. Temperature-wise, well, it's going to be cool from the northern plains through the northern Rockies and the far west. The southern plains and points east will continue with the warmth, but more often than not, even though it's going to be pretty warm this weekend, next week is going to cool off across the west. And you would expect that with the increasing clouds and the increasing chances for precipitation. Have yourself a good week ahead. Our next update will be on the 25th.